looked down upon by the main Hollywood, the top movie companies within Hollywood. So that's the reason that John Cena can kind of manage both. If John Cena really wanted to go serious in Hollywood and really wanted to take some major movie roles, I don't think if he stuck with WWE full time, I don't think he's going to get those movie roles. I don't think they're going to come to him because they know he's a WWE superstar and he's doing both things. Whereas The Rock said, all right, I went to Hollywood. I tried to land these roles. It wasn't happening because I was a WWE star. Distanced himself from WWE, and now he's a huge movie star. You know what I mean? Hollywood just looks down upon wrestling, pro wrestling in general. You know what I mean? So
it's just one of those unfortunate industries that are not respected or talked very highly, especially in the Hollywood industry, which is kind of funny because, originally, obviously, WWE was more of a sport, and that's kind of like what wrestling was. Then Vince came in and envisioned it as entertainment for a lot of reasons, not just because they just want to put on a show with a bunch of guys acting out. But the reality is Hollywood still doesn't embrace that. They still have a problem with that. And eventually, with more time, if McMahon decides to keep the Hollywood films working, because it looks like their direct-to-DVDs might be a little bit more successful, and the cost is a little bit down. But when you get, Lionsgate to help you distribute the movie, it kind of brings out a good name recognition. But when you're doing, $9 million, which is like $4 million less than the Marine around the same time of the release, it kind of speaks kind of the magnitude of WWE films.
Yeah. All right, and then we had our main event of WrestleMania 25, Triple H versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Jose El Vatos.
Yes, Holmes. LSA.
There was a guy by the name of Ryan Clark who over the past few weeks, now you know where I'm going with this. Come on, there was a guy named Ryan Clark over the past few weeks who said if Triple H versus Randy Orton is the main event of WrestleMania, Randy Orton does not win the title. No, I'm not one to come on here and say I was right, because I'll tell you this. Last night when I saw the Vince Shane thing backstage, I had thought, all right, there's no Steph there. Steph's going to come out. She's going to do the run-in. She's going to screw Triple H. I'm going to be screwed. I'm going to have to come on WZR radio and say, all right, Orton won the title. Da-da-da-da-da. You were right. I was blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That obviously didn't happen, and we had, well, let's talk about the match itself. I mean, the match itself, they started out, Randy hit an RKO, and then Triple H came right back with a pedigree. So that was not the best way, in my opinion, to start it out. Then you had Triple H go for the pedigree about 15 more times during the match. So it was like, wow, this is so repetitive, and it just killed it. The crowd was dead at this point. We had even for the SmackDown title match, they were hot for that, but there was just something missing from Triple H versus Randy Orton in the main event of that show. Nothing, I mean, the match itself wasn't all that bad. I mean, both guys went out there and worked hard. Randy looked good. Triple H looked okay. I mean, I'm not going to say it was one of his best matches ever, but it wasn't his worst match ever. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible main event, but it wasn't good either. You know what I mean?
It just, the match itself had that climate of reality. Triple H being the husband of Stephanie and the beatings that the McMahons took on the hands of Randy Orton, you're thinking to yourself, I mean, it's funny because I instant messaged you and I remembered, I was like, oh, look, what's the main event? You're like, shut up. And I said to myself, all right, this is cool. This is, so far everything is working the way that I wish at least it worked out to be. And then when I just kind of like the match carried out exactly, both guys did their finishers, and within 2 minutes of the match, and then Triple H just still trying to get back to it, and then the fall happened. That's when I just told myself, I'm like, wow, Triple H won the main event at WrestleMania. Does that surprise you? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You know what? And you have to think about that. You mentioned it earlier. There's a whole politics game. I think Orton's going to eventually get the title. Could happen, like we said, as early as tonight, because neither of those two are in that big tag match that's going down. I think they're going to hold that off for Backlash, though, and then we'll have a title change at that pay-per-view. But nonetheless, the title change is going to come. Where should it have come? Probably WrestleMania. The biggest, the spotlight is on you at WrestleMania, and to not put Randy Orton over there was surprising, but it was the main event, and I still stand by what I said. I just cannot see the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. You had the pyro go off, Triple H won the title. They cut out quick. They must have been real late on time because they went right to that. A little bit of pyro. You notice the pyro was kept in that one general area around the big star. You notice you didn't have anything outside the arena, nothing like that. They kept it in that
from the rafters, somewhere around the stands, and I'm sure granted the stadium was closed, so you kind of take that less of effect to it. But you're right, though. They did have less pyro this year.
Remember in Orlando, though, they had a lake where there was a lake outside the arena, and they were able to shoot the pyro off from the pond or the lake that was outside the arena. I don't know if they had anything like that in Houston, but if they did, they didn't use it. They could have still shot something off from the parking lot or something like that, but they didn't have the streamers come down from the tops. Nothing like that this year likely because of what happened last year. That was a disaster when one of the cables snapped and burnt a couple people. So they didn't do that, but we had Triple H. We ended WrestleMania on kind of a low note. But as far as the show as a whole, I thought it was good. I thought it was one of the better WrestleManias that I've seen in recent years. I didn't have that many problems. The only problems that I really had were the Divas match and the main event, and that was about it. I thought everything else, the Hardy versus Hardy, they tore down the house, like I said, a little bit more time, Money in the Bank to open the show, good stuff. Kid Rock didn't bother me. SmackDown title match was great. Taker versus Shawn Michaels, amazing, just amazing stuff. And that, overall, I thought it was, it wasn't terrible. It was
definitely a lot better during the event than paper, because originally when we saw it on paper and just the way how everything was just kind of put together, we just didn't feel that we didn't have that WrestleMania feeling. But then once it started, they did an excellent, smart job on starting the event itself with the ladders match. It sucks that Carlitos and the Miz, which of course the Colognes won, so they're now the unified champion. It sucks that they weren't fit into the pay-per-view, but seeing the way how the pay-per-view was kind of written out, I can see that. I can see the reason why, but it kind of gives you an idea of what type of short-term planning the WWE is doing right now as we speak. And again, the leakages are probably one of the biggest challenges that they have right now.
Now, that's it for WrestleMania. I wanted to come on here. I wanted to run down WrestleMania, and then tomorrow night, 7 to 9 Eastern Time, we're going to talk more news from Monday Night Raw. We're going to be able to run down Raw and do a bunch of other things, talk the backstage news from WrestleMania. I want to take your live phone calls as well tomorrow night as well. But I wanted to get the WrestleMania recap out of the way, which is why we did this show tonight, and then tomorrow night we're going to talk draft, Raw, and a bunch of other things. So I think
we appreciate you guys coming down and on a very short notice and listening to the show. Shows the dedication. We love you.
Live, baby, live. We love you.
Well, I do. I love you. Play some Brother Love in the background.
Yeah, right. Brother Love, baby. No, so, that's it, man. We got to talk about, what we wanted to talk about. I got to go get ready for Monday Night Raw right now. I got to do live coverage on the websites. Get caught up, a bunch more news that I got saved up that I got put up on the website. So I'm glad we got to get this out of the way, put the archive up here just a little bit for you guys. And tomorrow night, guys, 7 to 9 Eastern Time, WZROnline.com. Be here or be square. What else, man? What else? I think that's it.
That's it. That's pretty much it. WrestleSite.com, WrestleCommunity.com, of course, our headquarters. Pro wrestling WrestleScoops.com, of course, yours.
Don't even worry about it. WrestleSite.com. You got lots and lots of news up there. You've been keeping that up to date. So go check out Jose's sites. I'm not even going to do my plugs. The only plug I got is WZROnline.com for lots of news. WrestleSite.com has lots of news, probably some different stuff over there as well. So make sure you go to WrestleSite.com, the official website at WZR Radio, WZROnline.com. We're going to take your live phone calls tomorrow night, 7 to 9 Eastern Time, WZROnline.com. Enjoy Raw tonight, guys. Thank you guys for coming on short notice. We're also going to give away a complete 4-disc set, Jeff Jarrett, King of the Mountain DVD, tomorrow night on our normal Tuesday night show. So we got a lot planned for tomorrow night. Glad we got this out of the way tonight. Put the archive up for those of you guys that missed it in just a little bit. Should be up on the website later tonight. Like I said, guys, enjoy Monday Night Raw. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 to 9 Eastern Time, WZROnline.com. For Jose Rivera, this is Ryan Clark saying peace.
See ya.